right, it's 12:29 right now. Let's just get this one over with. So I just saw the Batman movie. The Batman is what it's called, with some friends today or tonight, whatever, yesterday, I guess. And yeah, I guess I'm gonna talk about my thoughts. So was it good? Yeah, it was actually pretty good. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I honestly, going into this movie, wasn't really super excited for it because Batman's been done so many times. Seen pretty much every single Batman movie except nothing but Batman Forever. Anyway, but Batman's been done so many times, and I didn't think they could do anything different with him, you know. And yeah, so I watched the movie and I was genuinely surprised. It was actually pretty good. It wasn't anything like completely different. Like, it wasn't like reinventing Batman completely, or at least in ways I haven't really seen before. But the way they executed it was very, very well done. Very well done, excuse me. But let's start off with the things I didn't like. The biggest thing I didn't like is, and this is probably gonna be like a big problem that like a lot of critics are gonna have, the length. The length is really long. It's borderline 3-hour long movie. I think it's like 2 hours and 52 minutes long. At some points it earns its length, and then there's other points where it doesn't. Like, there's the way the movie is written definitely warrants it being like the time limit, but they could have maybe made some plot points a little bit more concise and make it like a 2-hour movie. So the length is definitely a problem with it. Definitely, you know, you're gonna want to have some coffee or something like that, or be like awake when you watch this movie. The other thing I didn't really like about this movie, didn't really like the romance between Catwoman and Batman. I kind of thought it was, I mean, it was nice, but I kind of thought it was a little forced, and I think you know, it's a situation where these two characters have been like, you know, an item for years now, so obviously they have to get together in whatever property that they're in. But I think in this movie, I wasn't really feeling it. I don't know, it wasn't a huge issue, but that was just something I kind of thought about with like the things I didn't like about this movie. Everything else in this movie is really good. First off, Batman himself, Robert Pattinson, does a great job. I love his take on Batman. It's very different because, or at least how he approaches Batman and Bruce. Because, you know, Batman is kind of described as being three characters. You know, there's his public persona is Bruce Wayne, where he's very charismatic or charismatic, whatever, and charming, and like, you know, this billionaire philanthropist, like this cool guy. Then you have his Batman persona, where, you know, he's, you know, dark, brooding, serious, all that stuff. And then you have the Bruce where he's just in his cave, and you know, where he's with Alfred and stuff like that. Like that's kind of his real face, I guess. And the Bruce Wayne that you see in public is kind of like his persona. But in this movie, he's basically the same character, whether he's wearing a mask or not. And people might have problems with it, but me personally, I think that makes sense for his character, because, you know, Bruce is kind of from this angle they're going at least from my opinion, he you know, he's not gonna be the most sociable guy, even if it is like an act. Like, he's a guy that comes from a very, very dark past and is very devoted to pursuing his goal of, like, you know, cleansing Gotham of all crime, which is a very selfish and high concept goal, but it's something that he's 100% devoted to. So it makes sense that, you know, he's not going to really focus on, you know, being charismatic and charming, all that stuff. You know, I like that. You know, Batman's always been like a character who's like great at everything that he does. I like that. You know, he's not that great socially. You know, he has trouble picking up on social cues. He doesn't make a lot of public appearances. They make a very clear point of that in the movie, and I think that's a great take on his character. And it also gives him room to grow as a person. This isn't an origin story, but it definitely is a beginner level Batman story, where he's not really, like, he's been doing this for a while, for I think 3 years at this point, but, like, you know, the cops don't love him yet. You know, people still don't really know where they should stand with Batman. He's still kind of just this vigilante. So this is kind of like, it's kind of like the MCU Spider-Man movies, where like the trilogy kind of tells like an origin story of Spider-Man. I think that's what they're going to do with this new Batman trilogy. They're going to tell a kind of a different, unique origin story for a more seasoned Batman as he grows into his career. I like Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle / Catwoman. I also like Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon. Also, I love the cinematography of this. This is very well shot. Matt Reeves knows what he's doing with this. And I also like what they did with Batman's origin. They didn't redo Batman's origin, but they did kind of give a twist on it. A twist that's very similar to the Telltale Batman games, actually, if you've seen it. But I think what they did, they took from the Telltale Batman game and put in here is a little bit more. It was a little more impactful to this, not only the story of Batman's psyche and like why he's Batman and things like that. And I really like seeing I just really liked that twist or whatever.